that he is a loser. And I, as a Republican, as a 4-time winning Republican, I'm tired of losing. We should have won in 2020. 2, we lost. We should have won in 2020. We got everything our clock clean because of his leadership, and his message isn't getting it done. I supported him in 2016. I supported him in 2020. But he's a 3-time loser going on to be a 4-time loser. And it's not just him that I'm worried about. I'm worried about the US Senate races. I'm worried about the governorships. I'm worried about the ballot that he affects up and down the ticket.
Donald Trump, a loser, not just a loser, a 3-time loser, soon to be a 4-time loser. Now, you might hear that sort of talk on CNN normally, well, probably not anymore, but in the past, maybe a little bit. But you probably don't often hear it from Republicans being willing to so aggressively attack Donald Trump. And this is all being generated, of course, by what he said and what he did at the town hall on CNN. That was Chris Sununu attacking Donald Trump. He's not the only one, by the way. Senator Todd Young from Indiana is criticizing him, as well as Lindsey Graham criticizing him for his positions on Russia and Ukraine, which he made very clear during that town hall. Take a look at this.
President Trump's judgment is wrong in this case. President Putin and his government have engaged in war crimes.
I mean, does it worry you that your party's leading presidential candidate is advancing?
Of course it does. That's why I don't intend to support him for the Republican nomination.
Where I differ with President Trump is if we end this war and Putin's still standing, he's unaccountable for the war crimes. You don't end the war, you just create more conflict.
I think people saw last night what they would get with another term of Donald Trump as president, which is completely untethered to the truth, uncertain as to whether he wants Russia or Ukraine to win in the brutal conflict which Russia has imposed on Ukraine. I think it was a great opportunity for the people of America to see just exactly who it is Donald Trump has become.
And it's not just that, other Republicans were attacking him for different stances that he took during the town hall. Some did not like that he pointed out once again that he was going to pardon many of those who attempted to overthrow the government on January 6th. It's years out from that. Many of them would just love to move on, but Donald Trump, of course, is not gonna let them. Josh Hawley said, if you're asking me, do I think we should pardon people who engage in rioting behavior? No, which is a pretty big change in his stance from fist in the air and then eventually running as fast as he could down a hallway to, of course, we shouldn't be pardoning these people. So for different reasons, different politicians all coming out against Donald Trump. So not everybody enjoyed his performance at the town hall.
Here's my first reaction to this. DRAMZ. Okay, that is a lot of Republican senators. Here's the real conclusion. And I think this one's pretty important. They must have polling we don't have, or they must know something we don't know, because first of all, he cowed all those guys, and he's done it many, many times before. Every once in a while, they'll poke their head out and be like, Trump not so good, and he'll smash their head, and they're like, oh, Trump's the best, I love him, I'm so sorry. Now, Mitt Romney hasn't done that, to be fair to him. He's only partially done that. There was that reek moment when he was lobbying for Secretary of State. But like Josh Hawley and Lindsey Graham are first class bootlickers, right? Josh Hawley did exactly what Trump wanted on that day. So now they're turning around. They're not turning around because all of a sudden they found a conscience, okay? So if you see it in mainstream media, I don't want you to get tricked into thinking like, I wonder if they looked at that town hall and finally realized, well, golly gee, this Trump guy, he's a bit of a bastard, isn't he? Okay, no, come on guys. So they've decided for whatever reason, pretty much it looks like almost en masse, including John Cornyn, the #2 Republican in the Senate, all coming out at the same time going, not Trump, not Trump. When the public polls seem to indicate he's got about a 30-point lead on DeSantis. If that's true and there was no other factor, I guarantee you that those senators would not have said those things. So either they got some sort of poll that says Trump's gonna lose in a way that we can't see with our own eyes, or they have polling showing if you back Trump, even in Indiana, you're gonna lose. Like the polling's so bad for those senators for the general election that they're like, no, if I go in the direction of being anti-choice and pro-Trump, I can't survive a general election. The last possibility is the donors came in with overwhelming money. And they're like, look, we all got bribe you guys on a regular basis anyway. You guys are all gonna do what we want. But this Trump thing's not messing around, okay? We really don't like Trump. So here is an irresistible vat of money, even if he comes for you. But remember, if you all work together, maybe you could do it. Go get him, Tigers. But this isn't normal. Something happened behind the scenes, I guarantee it.
I don't know. I think for me, what caught my eye was the sort of sticking point for most of those guys was the Ukraine thing, which that sticks out to me because it's the one thing in Washington and amongst all of the foreign policy elite, they're all in lockstep on. Everybody is in lockstep with supporting Ukraine, sending billions upon billions of dollars at the wave of a pen. Nobody hems and haws. Nobody talks about fiscal responsibility. Nobody ever does any of that on either side of the aisle when Ukraine comes up. So I thought that was interesting that that's what they sort of ding them on, because everybody over there agrees that we're running this Ukraine playbook to a T. Everybody does. So I'm like, that's like coming out against that. That doesn't mean anything to me. Honestly, I feel like they're betting on a short memory of everybody, of the media, of the US public, that if, by the time Trump wipes the floor with DeSantis and turns him into his next little lackey bootlicker, everybody will have forgotten that Mitt Romney was upset that Trump didn't give a full-throated support and embrace of the effort in Ukraine.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.